everyone and welcome to a very special video for two reasons. Number one, we are going without a script, and number two, I have already recorded this video twice. This is my third attempt. Let's just hope that everything will finally work. This is the map of Runeterra. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally made it. Riot has finally released the complete map of Runeterra, and holy crap, is it amazing. Now, this is just going to be an introduction video, which means that I will go through the main points of the map, some interesting facts that we know about it, some Easter eggs, because we know that there will be Easter eggs. But later on this channel, I will release video where I will talk about these different places separately, and I will call out every single champion and every single story and every single event that happened in every single one of these places. So, without further ado, let's begin with this. Alright, so here we have, first of all the different factions. Before this, we only saw the Medarda map, which was like this middle kind of piece of map. So this is truly the first time that we have ever seen the complete map of Runeterra. So, let's start piece by piece. Let's start with Ionia, because people know that I am the Lord of Ionia. I actually own Ionia, okay? It was sent to me by Riot. So I am the Lord of Ionia. Now, the beautiful thing about this map is that you can zoom in to all the different regions, but you can also zoom in further and see little cities that you may or may not recognize from stories. And that's exactly why I want to do these separate videos where I will just go region by region and I will just call out all of the stories. Because, for example, right here you have Hirana Monastery. If I click on Hirana Monastery, you may see that this is, okay, also, sorry that it is like a little bit cut off. Actually, hold on, I can be a super professional YouTuber, and I can actually make the entire frame fit in this video, so you can there we go, so you can actually see what we're looking at. You can see, you know, there's Lee Sin, there's Udyr, these two guys. You can also recognize Kinko Monastery, the home to all the ninjas. You may also recognize the Placidium of Navori, which was like the final stand against the Noxian invasion. You may also notice that there is a dotted line on the shores of Ionia. That's because if we zoom out and we point at Noxus, yes, it will actually show you what kinds of the world these regions actually occupy. So you can see that Noxus is like trying to conquer all the lands, you know, around them, but they also conquered, you know, still, or I should say that they still hold the shores of Ionia, as you can see. So this map is really detailed when it comes to what is happening with Runeterra right now. If I zoom in, you may recognize some places, for example the Ipul River. Again, I totally forgot which place that was. I believe it was the Vastaya story. You got Vuju, the home, you know, of Master Yi. You got Volonko, which is where Zaya and Rakan, you know, had their story. You have Tula, the Tula prison. This is Zayun. This is where Jin, you know, did all of his stuff, and he was then imprisoned in Tula prison. There are just so many different places that you will recognize from different stories. For example, the Temple of Pallas. You know, this is where Varus is from. Or sorry, he's not from there. Well, he's like from the region, but this is where Varus was imprisoned. Sorry, I'm talking about Varus. I should be talking about Val and Kai, you know, the two guys that later merged with Varus. But so that's, you know, Temple of Pallas. And I don't want this video to be too long, so I will just go through the basics. Each region, if you click on the region, and by that I mean if you zoom out all the way and then you click on the region, you will get your basic information here on the right side. Most of the things that appear here in the menu are things that were on Universe before. We know these things because they were on Universe. For example, if I click on this, we saw this image in one Ask Riot post. We don't know this image of a freaking dragon nest. We also don't know this image. Okay, sometimes there will be images that we don't know, but you know, we saw these mushrooms before, and I think better example will be this. Like, yeah, the life of Ionia. We know all of these from the universe. All of these images we know. So, apart from this one. Ooh, that's a cool one. But basically, if you click, if you zoom out and then you click on the region, it will give you all the basic information. There is also some really important information here, where you always have the kind of government there is, the level of the technology, the attitude towards magic, that seems to be an important thing, because why else would it be here, and then the general environment. So, the government in Ionia is a regional province, which makes sense. The level of technology is low, which also makes sense, because they are all about nature. The attitude towards magic is harmonized, because harmony, you know, also makes sense. And then you have the general environment, which is magical. It says varied, because you guys probably know that in Ionia, everything is alive. And so if you act in goodwill towards nature, the nature will kind of leave you alone, and it will let you live, and maybe sometimes the nature will help you. By this I mean that if, for example, I was an Ionian and I lived in a forest, one day I may have a house in the middle of trees, but the next day, if I make the nature angry, maybe the trees will, you know, expand their roots and they will destroy my house. So the nature reacts to how, you know, the living beings act towards it. For example, you may notice here, and this is something that I pointed out on our stream when we streamed, you know, looking at this map. Next to Temple of Pallas, there is this Chedu, or is it Gedu? Or is it G? Gedu Sea, then. You can see that it says it's a sea, but, you know, it's totally dried out. And I was wondering, maybe this was the act of, you know, Ionian nature. Maybe because the Darkin, or sorry, not the Darkin, because the Golden Warrior Queen sealed Varus, you know, who's a Darkin, in the Temple of Pallas. Maybe the nature didn't like it. Maybe, you know, it just dried out the sea so that it will be more difficult for the life to live there. So you can, okay, you can definitely notice all of these little details on the map. So that's what happens when you click, you know, on the region. You can also notice that there are always associated champions with these places. For example, there is even Ivern, because we know that the God Willow is from Ionia, but Ivern himself is not from Ionia. And outside of this, what you also do is that if you zoom in closer, you can notice that there are more places that you can click on. We saw that, you know, Hirana Monastery is here. Even though if you click on it, there is nothing really set, you know, apart from, you know, it like gives you the basic info of what it is. The same goes for Kinko Monastery. But then, if you click on Placidium of Navori, it tells you something else. It's not like, you know, it's not the general information of the region, it's only the Placidium. So you may notice that it has different champions associated with it. While, you know, Ionia has the overall information, this is only the Placidium. So we know that this is the place where Aurelia cut off the hand of Swain. And also, you know, you got these images and, you know, the invasion happened here, and you can just click around and you can get all of this amazing information. Also, there are like sometimes there are like hidden little things that you can click on around the world. For example, I just clicked on a random piece of art and suddenly I'm looking at Ionian flowers. We know these from Ari's story, but we do not know the rest. And also there should be somewhere, there is, I believe, the fauna. Yeah, the wildlife and fauna. There are the animals that live in Ionia. So if you really want to get the true sense of the region that you are interested in, you have to kind of go around and click on stuff which kind of like makes you actually explore the world. But I wish there was a, you know, it was organized a little bit better, so that maybe I click on Ionia and maybe the wildlife and the flowers will be here in the menu. I would appreciate that a little bit more. However, so that's what you get when you click on a region, right? So if I click on Noxus, the exact same information will be here. You know, you get the attitude towards magic, which is weaponized. It is a expansionist empire. The level of technology is medium, and it is a it's inhospitable steppes, because all the lands around Noxus were ravaged by the Darkin. So now let's go into the interesting things that you may or may not find on this map. First of all, there is one Easter egg that people already found, which is, you may notice that at first we may not see Bandle City, but if you just like go around and you look, and there we go. If you go around and you look for it, you may find this little flower icon, or it kind of looks like black rose, but you know, that's probably a coincidence. But Bandle City, as it was like hinted at for so long now, Bandle City is not a physical place on the map, and therefore you can't really show it here. So Bandle City is like a place between the spirit realm and the physical realm. It's like something in between. So when Yordles want to go to the Bandle City, they actually use these awesome portals that are like scattered around some secret places of Runeterra. And for, you know, you can freaking see here Timo casting some kind of magical spell so he can freaking open a portal to Bandle City. And the interesting thing is that every time you reload this page, I will do it for you now. Watch. Every time you reload the page, Bandle City actually moves. Because again, there is no physical place for Bandle City. So it just shows you the many different portals. See, now we're in Ionia. The many different portals that, you know, allow Yordles to get into Bandle City. Now, what else do we have? Okay, let me just go through some of the interesting parts. You guys know that Riot has been sending out some, you know, real maps or physical maps of Runeterra to certain content creators. I was fortunate enough to get Ionia, making me the Lord of Ionia. I actually have the images here. I will kind of try to pop them up on the screen now. This is my piece. This is what I got from Riot. But there are also other pieces. Someone else got, you know, this piece of map. Someone else got this piece of map. And it actually, the person who got the map took the picture like this, but we figured out it's actually, you know, upside down. So it's supposed to be like this. But I quickly want to show you all the pieces that we know about. All the physical pieces of map that Riot has sent out. And I want to show you what you know, what kind of place it is what I meant to say the entire time. So, first of all, I got Ionia. You know, it's pretty easy to guess. If you freaking look at these islands, that's Ionia. No doubt in my mind. When this one first came out, and I believe, I actually totally forgot who got this piece. I'm sorry that I don't know the names. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. But when this piece came out, people thought that it's like this piece of Valoran. But you can notice that this, you know, massive nose at the front of the land is too tiny for this little thing. So, if you zoom in, you may actually notice that the person who has this map actually has Piltover Zone. And this is the little nose that you can see on the picture here. So the person who has this map, they have a Piltover Zone and all of this. And you can actually see the dotted line here. That's where it's cut off. The next piece of Runeterra that someone got when I close this one off is Tibiscayan. I know that this is his piece. And he owns Mount Targon. So if we go out and if we have a look at Mount Targon, by the way, I love that there are freaking 3D models of like the big places on Runeterra. Mount Targon, fully 3D, and it has the freaking light beam, which is the gateway to heavens. And I love that. I love this detail. Because we know that Mount Targon is basically the gateway to heavens. So, we know that, you know, Tibiscayan, he has Targon. It's basically, you know, this little island. The next one this is obviously Shurima. There's no doubt in my mind. You can also notice that there is a piece cut off here, you know, in the north of Shurima. That's because if we zoom out, you can see this piece is actually owned by Noxus. Actually, Noxus still owns, and what is it? Actually, is it Euxirus? Yes, it is. It's a port city that Noxus is using, you know, to try and like spread around Shurima. Even though they do own, I believe, yes, they do. Belzoon, is it? Yes, they also own Belzoon, which together with Nashrame, they are the two biggest ports in Shurima. Okay, and then we have, is it the last one? And then we have the last one, which is this was revealed on the Poke podcast. So Lily Pichu and Pokimane and all the squad, they own Bilgewater. If I zoom in on this, and then if I show you the islands again, you have, if you look at this island, there's like a head that kind of looks like a xenomorph. there's the back of the creature, and then there's a little tail. If I go to the map, there's the head of the xenomorph, then the back, and then the little tail. So they own Bilgewater. So someone will still get Shadow Isles, someone else will get... What else are we missing? Someone will get... I wonder who will get Noxus, because holy crap, that's a massive piece of land. Then, you know, someone will have to get... By the way, we got Icathia in the Void in the south, which is something that we kinda, you know, we thought that's where Icathia would be, based on the icon, this one. Well, I always thought that this would be Icathia, and yes, it actually is. And holy crap, is the 3D model of the Void amazing. I should quickly go through... Ta-da, what else? Okay, let me now show you some of the amazing little Easter eggs hidden around the place. For example, if you zoom in on Targon, you can see that there is Marai territory. And the Marai, if you don't know, are the mermaid people, which is Nami. And the story of the Marai is that they live in the oceans, right next to a void rift. And from that void rift, you know, the void creatures are kinda trying to spread around. But the only thing that the void creatures fear are it's not the abyssal peril, it's the moonstones. The void creatures fear moonstones, and moonstones you can get moonstones from Mount Stargon, from the Celestials that, you know, come down. They can give you a moonstone. But in return for the moonstone, the Targonians want abyssal perils, and you can only get abyssal perils if you actually dive into the void rift. So the story of the Marai is that every 100 years they send someone down into the void rift to get the abyssal peril, which they then grab, and then they go to the shores of Targon, and you can actually see there's like a stream of water going up Mount Targon. This, we can assume, is the place where they trade the perils. And so this is the place where the Marai come with the abyssal peril, they get a moonstone for it from the Targonians, and then they put it in their city, and the void creatures will not approach them. So this is a awesome little, you know, Easter egg here. Next one, interesting one, is that there is Vekura, which is the birthplace of Azir's mother. You have, I believe, here Zairama, which is the birthplace of Kassadin. But if we zoom out and we click on Shurima, you may notice that Kassadin is not actually affiliated with Shurima itself. Because, of course, because Kassadin dove into the void. Hold on, if I click on the void, Kassadin is actually affiliated with the void. Here he is. So, just looking at the map, you can discover so many awesome things. For example, if I go all the way up here, by the way, Frostguard Citadel, right here. Next to it you have Hearth Home, which is Ornn's home, and you can see the trench that Ornn dug to cool down Hearth Home, and this is a trench that, like, you know, dipped down the oceans by a couple of inches. Just all of these little pieces that we know from the stories are here. The only thing that I couldn't find, and I will show you later, there are the Ursine lands, which we can assume is where Volibear is with, you know, with his kind. With his followers, but you can also notice that there is a giant massive land in the north that is undocumented, which kind of makes sense because, you know, who would survive there, really? But it really reminds me of Game of Thrones, as in those are the lands that, you know, were not discovered yet. You can also notice that there are different lands around. For example, there is this massive island where it's not named, we don't know what is there, so... And also there is a bunch of them here. So basically, Riot is leaving windows open so that in the future they can still expand the world. What I wanted to say is that one thing that I didn't find is the God Willow. We still need to find where, you know, where, what's his face? Damn it, no, brain fart. I will learn that. It's gonna be Ivern. Yep. We still couldn't find where Ivern became Ivern. That's one thing. Also, another awesome Easter egg. If you remember the story for Demacia, it was always theorized, that it was never confirmed, that Nocturne in Phosboro, sorry, that the demon in Phosboro is Nocturne. That was a theory, and if we now go to Phosboro, where the uncle of Lux and Garen was, you know, he was buried there, Nocturne is actually affiliated with this, so we now know Nocturne is confirmed to be part of the For Demacia story. There's High Silvermere, which is the birthplace of Garen and Lux. There's Uvendale with blah, 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 blah. God damn it, why am I forgetting all the names? Poppy and Quinn. For some reason I only remembered Valor. And if you just go around and if you click on different places, you may notice that, see, Demacia now has their own kind of griffins. They don't have hippogriffs, they have raptors. And you can see these are the beasts that Demacians ride. And holy crap, look at the armor, and just go and explore the map. You will notice so many awesome things. For example, here is the birthplace of Riven, you know, Travail. Also, there is Vindor and there is Basilish, which we know from the comic called Blood of Noxus, which featured Darius and Draven. What else do we have? We have freaking Drakengate. We have. Oh, we have Delverhold. This is the place that we know from Darius' story, where we learned that Delverhold is the place. You can see Darius is affiliated with this place. Delverhold is the place where Noxians mine in the Iron Spike Mountains. It is called right here. That's where they get all the ores to craft their armor and weapon. The reason why their armor and weapons are black and really dark is because they mine it from the Iron Spike Mountains. And just again, I am just getting blown away by all of these things that you can just find by randomly going around the map. And one more important thing that I want to mention before I close this video, because we are already over 20 minutes. You can notice you got Freljord in the north, by the way, Olaf. You can see there's a Glacier Port and Lokfar right here. This is where Olaf is from. But if you zoom out, you can notice that Freljord like owns, you know, everything up to the mountains. Demacia is like curled up in the corner because they are a nation that is all about survival. They don't really care about magic. They don't want war. They just want to live there. And Noxus is expanding all around this, which means right in the middle between Demacia and Noxus there is a contested territory. This doesn't belong to anyone. And well, also by the way, if you're wondering, Drune and the Dalmor Plain, this is where Clad is, and there are the other plains, the Rockrund Plains and Rockrund. This is where this is where Swain's story called Black Powder took place. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, this is all contested territory. I wonder if we will get another nation that maybe, may appear here out of nowhere. Also, another amazing thing, you can notice if we go all the way here, the Great Barrier is back. These were mountains that were a thing in the old Valoran, which means that this is likely where we will get Alistar, where we will get, and someone else. I don't know who's the other person, but yeah. One thing that I still wonder is, I wonder where the dragons are from. And I think it is gonna be this place. I think this is where dragons will be from, because we know that Shivana needs to be from the mountains around Demacia. And I actually think that it is above the Gates of Mourning, because I believe those were mentioned in the story of Jarvan when he was, when Noxians captured him. And when the war kind of erupted. I think it was, around the Gates of Mourning, which means in these mountains, this is where dragons should be. And like, again, if you just dig into the lore, oh, there's one more thing that I really want to mention, but if you dig into the lore, you may notice so many different Easter eggs hidden around. And one more thing, by the way, we have Bilgewater here with all the art. There's so much new art for Bilgewater. Just go ahead and check all of that out. But if we go here into the Shadow Isles, you may notice mist. And I am gonna take a quote from Leo Carvalho. He's an amazing writer who's part of our Discord channel. He told us that this map is now fully alive, which means that it will adapt to the stories, it will change as the stories go, and which means that you can notice the black mist going, being now above the Shadow Isles. But I'm gonna call it now, when October comes, and when we actually get the Harrowing, I believe actually Harrowing is later than October, I think it's November even, when the Harrowing comes, I believe the mist will spread and we will see the mist around Bilgewater as well. That's just, you can quote me on this, that has to happen. But, you know, if you go to the Shadow Isles and you click on the Shadow Isles in general, you will get the art. By the way, there are some amazing pictures and... Oh, they changed it! Okay, it's the Widow of Forgotten Songs. It wasn't a bug, it was a typo. It was a window of Forgotten Songs before. Now they changed it. But you know, freaking Karthus. When the Harrowing comes, this is what Karthus does. He raises these armies, and what the heck is this? I don't know. You also have something that, you know, looks like Dark Souls, really. You have freaking Thresh, that kind of, it seems like Thresh will get a visual update. But if you, hold on, that also reminds me, speaking of visual updates, if we go to Demacia. Speaking of visual updates, if we go to Demacia, this is Jarvan. And Riot said that they are working on a visual update that they have never mentioned before. I hope it is new Jarvan. I hope we will get this as a freaking paladin kind of Jarvan. I love, you know, silver armor. Holy crap, would that be amazing. But going back to Shadow Isles, while if you click on Shadow Isles, you will get all these Shadow Isles-y art. If you zoom in and you click on the capital of the Shadow Isles, we are now in the Blessed Isles, and when I saw this on stream for the first time, holy crap was I blown away. Because we just got freaking confirmed art on the Blessed Isles and freaking how they looked, and it's just so amazing. I'm just blown away. But that's probably gonna be it, unless I remember another amazing thing that is on the map. I don't think so. I'll just zoom around really quickly. We get Skillgrove, Stonewall, we got Nashrame and Zurita. Zurita, that's the Golden Warrior Queen. There's like an amazing art of like there's like a freaking city that is like in the bones of a freaking some kind of sand serpent, whatever that is. But there's also art for like the raiders and the scavengers of, you know, Shurima that are down in the south, because up in the north, these places are a little bit more, you know, a little bit more civilized. But that will probably be it. I will just click on Mount Argon. No, all of that art we know. Just quickly want to say that someone like Evelyn, for example, is not in Shadow Isles, because if you click on Demacia, we know that Evelyn is in Demacia, and you may notice that like certain champions are in different places than what you would expect. Hold on, is there actually... Where's Evelyn? Oh, Evelyn is missing. Oh, she wouldn't be Phosboro, she could be Silvermare? Evelyn is missing, because I don't think Evelyn is in Shadow Isles. I don't think. Oh, I just remembered another thing. There is a place, was it Travail? No, it's Needlebrook. Needlebrook even more, and I believe, no, Renwall was mentioned in for Demacia, but Needlebrook is a place where Kindred, you know, the story of Kindred happened here. This is where the caravans, you know, went. So, again, just freaking go around, and whenever you see a place in a story, you can now look on the map and you can now actually see the map. So that's gonna be my take on the map. We are now nearing 30 minutes, so I'm just gonna end this. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, I will say right now that I will definitely make videos on the separate regions where I will call out all the different places and the stories that happened there. So yeah, just hang around the channel, that will come really soon. So again, thank you so much guys for being here and for your support. We got freaking 1,000 viewers on our stream, which was incredible. It was insane. So I can really see your support. I can really feel it. You guys are incredible. So as always, thank you, come again. I screwed up even the intro. God damn it.